Mastering is the last step in music production. It's what takes a finished mix and prepares it for streaming, for different speakers, for the world. And for most beginners, it's the most intimidating step, because mastering is its own discipline, with its own rules, and most tutorials assume you already know what you're doing. Logic Pro has a built-in answer to this called Mastering Assistant. In this video, I'll explain what it is, how it works, where it's genuinely useful, and where you'll outgrow it. By the end, you'll know exactly how to use it, and just as importantly, when not to. Let's start with what it actually is. Mastering Assistant is an AI-based plugin that came with Logic Pro 10.8 in 2023. It analyzes your finished mix and applies a complete mastering chain automatically. Corrective EQ, compression, stereo width adjustment, loudness normalization, and a true peak limiter. The goal is to get your track to the loudness standards used by Apple Music, Spotify, and other streaming platforms, which is around -14 LUFS, with the peaks capped at -1 dBFS. Here's how to use it. Open your project, go to the stereo output channel strip, and click the mastering slot at the very bottom of the effects chain. The plugin loads, analyzes your entire project, and applies its processing within seconds. You then get a small set of controls to adjust the result. The character presets, clean, valve, punch, and transparent, change the overall tone. Clean is the safe, general-purpose option. Valve adds analog warmth. Punch emphasizes the mid-range for rock. Transparent is modern and tight. The Auto EQ slider controls how much corrective EQ is applied. The loudness knob adjusts perceived volume. Excite adds high-frequency saturation. Width controls the stereo image. That's the whole interface. One technical note: the character presets, other than Clean, only work on Macs with Apple Silicon. If you're on an Intel Mac, you're limited to Clean. Now the honest part: when this is good and when it isn't. The advantages first. If you don't know how to master, this is genuinely helpful. You get a result that meets streaming standards without needing to understand compression ratios, EQ curves, or limiting thresholds. For beginners, that's a real value. It's also a free alternative to paid tools like iZotope Ozone, which costs hundreds of euros. For most beginners, Mastering Assistant gets you 80% of the way to where Ozone would get you, at zero additional cost. And here's the most underrated use, and this is something I want you to remember. Mastering Assistant is a diagnostic tool for your mix. The Auto EQ is limited to ±6 decibels per band. If you see it pushing the high shelf or low shelf to its maximum, that's a signal that your mix has a frequency imbalance. Maybe your high end is dull, or your low end is muddy, or your mid-range is fighting itself. The mastering tool can't fix those problems properly. It can only point at them. Go back to your mix and fix the source. Now the disadvantages. The biggest one is flexibility. The EQ has only 3 bands: a low shelf, a mid-range, and a high shelf, each capped at 6 decibels. Real mastering often needs precise cuts at specific frequencies, narrow bell curves, or dynamic EQ that reacts to the music. Mastering Assistant can't do any of that. The compression is also fixed. You don't choose the attack, the release, or the ratio. You get what the algorithm decides. For most beginner mixes, that's fine. For anything where you need surgical control, it isn't. So here's my honest recommendation. Use Mastering Assistant in 2 ways. First, as a diagnostic. Run it on your mix, look at the EQ curve it applies, and use that information to improve your mix before you master. If the assistant is boosting your highs significantly, your mix probably needs more high end at the source. If it's cutting the low mids, you have a muddiness problem. Second, once you know what kind of processing your mix needs, recreate the mastering chain manually using Logic's own plugins: Channel EQ, Compressor, Stereo Spread, Limiter. You'll have full control over every parameter, and your masters will sound better because they're tailored to the song. And one last thing, which I think matters more than any specific technique. Learn mastering. I'm serious about this. Mastering forced me to listen to my mixes in a way nothing else did. The moment you start trying to master your own songs, your mixes get better, because mastering exposes every weakness in the mix underneath. The bad balance you didn't hear, the harsh frequency you missed, the compression that was too aggressive. Mastering Assistant is a great starting point, but the real skill is hearing what's wrong and knowing how to fix it. That's worth learning. See you in the next one.